Good day, we are the Room 5 and this presentation is all about a volleyball handbook.
Before we formally start explaining everything in this handbook, let us hear an inspiring quote from our groupmate.
According to Audrey Hepburn, nothing is impossible. The word itself says I'm possible. I can relate to this quote since over the years I've had a lot of ridiculous pipe dreams. Some are large while others are modest. There were a few that never saw the light of day. Some of them have had a significant impact on my life. Maybe I'll stumble, maybe I'll fall flat on my face, but it's got to be better than wondering what is it year after year. I'm confident that my plan will not turn out the way I picture it today. There will undoubtedly be twists and turns as well as knocks and bruises, but I've never been more certain that now is the time to take a leap of faith and see where I land.
Just like the volleyball game, reaching the ball in a match may be difficult, but with a player's dedication and strong faith in itself, nothing is impossible in retrieving the ball and keeping it on air.
Let us go on to our presentation. This handbook contains a collection of instructions that is intended to provide ready reference about volleyball.
It contains the volleyball game's code of conduct before, during, after play. The equipment volleyball court's dimensions, its basic skills, the technical and tactical skills, rules of the game, and how to officiate the volleyball game.
Let us walk you through the brief history of volleyball. First, we will be giving you a brief history about volleyball.
Volleyball is still a relatively young sport. Volleyball was invented around the tail end of the 19th century. William G. Morgan intended to invent a new sport in 1895 that would appeal to young businessmen who considered basketball too harsh. He named the sport he invented Mintonette. The name did not catch on, but the sport of volleyball gained in popularity. Volleyball was initially an indoor sport, but beach volleyball was first played in California in the 1920s, with the first two-man beach game taking place in 1930.
Let us proceed to the materials or equipment. The following are the lists of materials and equipment that are needed in playing volleyball.
The ball. The normal volleyball is constructed of leather or synthetic leather. It weighs about 9 to 10 ounces and measures 25.6 to 26.4 inches in circumference. The ball contains a rubber bladder and can be one color or a mixed color. Synthetic leather is lightweight and suitable for beginners. Junior volleyballs for the young, aged 12 and under, weigh 7 to 8 ounces. The net and poles. The volleyball court is divided into two, half by the net. The height of the net varies depending on the age of the players and the surface on which they play. Indoor nets are 7 feet, 5 to 8 inches tall for males, and 7 feet 4 and 1/8 inches tall for women. The beach volleyball nets are all the same height. Protective padding is necessary to surround these structures, in addition to the nets and poles from which they are suspended, to ensure player safety in the event of a collision. Knee pads. Indoor volleyball may be tough on the knees. Knee protection is required since most courts are on hardwood gymnasium floors. Knee pads are available in two conventional styles. Beginning players, as the setter, wear smaller, flatter knee pads. These players do not typically dig or dive for the ball on a regular basis. Defensive players who dive regularly sometimes choose knee pads with a bubble design. To avoid damage, these full coverage cushions are frequently comprised of shock-absorbing memory foam. Uniforms. The player from the same team or nation wears the same outfit. When playing beach volleyball, most players are likely to wear swimsuits. Volleyball footwear. Volleyball shoes have a gum rubber sole and are made from the lateral mobility required by the activity. The midsole is often constructed of foam, but the back is more likely to be made of mesh or nylon. Volleyball braces, sleeves, and pads. Volleyball players' most crucial form of protection is knee pads. With so many low balls being hit, you'll have to stoop to get to them. Bruising and floor burns are frequent occurrences. While elbow pads aren't as vital as knee pads, many players may wear them as extra cushioning when diving to keep a volleyball in play. For the same reason, arm sleeves are sometimes worn.
Court dimensions of a volleyball court. The overall measurements for a volleyball court is 60 feet by 30 feet. Each side of the court is therefore 30 feet by 30 feet in size. The center line. A center line is marked at the center of the court, dividing it equally into 30 feet squares. The attack line. The attack line is marked 10 feet on each side of the center line of the court. Some rules show the attack line at 9 feet 10 inches. However, that includes the width of the line itself. Service line. A service line is marked 10 feet inside the right sideline on each back line. This is the area from which a server may serve the volleyball. The net. The net is hung directly above the center line at 7 feet 4 inches for women and 8 feet for men. Standards. Volleyball standards should be set at 36 feet apart, 3 feet on either side of the sidelines. Ceiling heights. The minimum ceiling height should be 23 feet. Preferably, the ceiling should be higher.
Moves, stances, and techniques in volleyball. A lot of skills are required when playing volleyball. Watching professional volleyball matches can display a lot of different moves, each crazy and complicated in its own way. These skills may be impressive, but doing them on your own isn't the best idea. Learning and mastering these basic technical skills will help you warm up to the play of the game. Serving. This is the action that begins the game, and is the only time that a player can actually hold the ball throughout the game. Depending on how the player serves, and the trajectory of the ball to the opposing side can greatly determine the outcome of the game. Common types of serves are the overhand serve, float serve, and jump serve. Passing. This is a skill that is in almost every ball game and is especially practiced in volleyball. This skill is used to pass the ball to other players, keeping the ball in the air. There are two kinds of passes, the forearm pass and the overhand pass. Setting. This skill usually works hand in hand with passing, as it is used to set up the ball's trajectory either onto an undefended area or to the nearby hitter to spike the ball at the enemy side. Spiking. This skill is the follow-up attack to the set. This is the act of hitting the ball straight down to the enemy side, which may be blocked by opposing players, which is why the trajectory and the location of the spike is what makes it important. Down balls. A down ball is not a skill, but it's a concept of defense that players must know about. This means that a ball that was set by an opposing player was placed too far above or beyond the net for any meaningful spike to be done, which means that teams shouldn't waste their energy trying to block the spike. Digging. This skill is basically the act of defending against an enemy spike. This is usually done in the case of a set and a spike where you need to deflect the ball while keeping your stance in your position. Lastly, diving. This is arguably the skill that needs the greatest reaction time, along with digging. It is pretty much the same as digging, defending against a spike, but you lunge to the ground with your arm extended to stop the ball from hitting the ground.
Rules and regulations, sport mechanics and violations. Each team consists of 6 players and 6 substitutes. Players can be substituted at any time, but if they are to return, can only be swapped for the player that replaced them. Each team can hit the ball up to 3 times before the ball must be returned. The defensive team can then try and block or return the ball again, hitting it a maximum of 3 times. Player may not hit the ball twice in succession. A block is not considered a hit. Ball may be played off the net during a volley and on a serve. A ball hitting a boundary line is in. A ball is out if it hits an antennae, the floor completely outside the court, any of the net or cables outside the antennae, the referee stand or pole, the ceiling above a non-playable area. Games are played up to 25 points and must be won by 2 clear points. It is illegal to contact the ball with any part of a player's body. It is illegal to catch, hold, or throw the ball. If 2 or more players contact the ball at the same time, it is considered one play and either player involved may make the next contact, provided the next contact isn't the team's 4th hit. A player cannot block or attack a serve from on or inside the 10-foot line. After the serve, front line players may switch positions at the net. At higher competition, the officiating crew may be made up 2 refs, line judges, scorer, and assistant scorer.
And these are the violation rules. We will start with when serving, stepping on or across the service line as you make contact with the serve. failure to serve the ball over the net successfully, contacting the ball illegally by lifting, carrying, throwing, etc., touching the net with any part of the body while the ball is in play, and the exception will be if the ball is driven into the net with such a force that it causes the net to contact an opposing player, no foul will be called, and the ball shall continue to be in play. When blocking a ball coming from the opponent's court, contacting the ball when reaching over the net is a violation if both your opponent hasn't used 3 contacts, and second, they have a player there to make a play on the ball. When attacking a ball coming from the opponent's court, contacting the ball when reaching over the net is a violation if the ball hasn't yet broken the vertical plane of the net, crossing the court center line with any part of your body. Again, there is an exception if it's the hand or foot. The entire hand or foot must cross for it to be a violation. Serving out of order. Back row player blocking, which means deflecting a ball coming from their opponent, when at the moment of contact the back row player is near the net and has a part of his or her body above the top of the net, which is an illegal block. And lastly, back row player attacking a ball inside the front zone, which is the area inside the 10-foot line, when at the moment of contact the ball is completely above the net, which is also an illegal attack.
Officiating a volleyball game. Sports officiating is the face of competitive sports management, which deals directly with the proper conduct of the game. Its primary function is to cause the game to progress with as little interference as possible. It also allows the officials to judge infractions in a correct manner. The qualities of game officials. 1. They should possess knowledge of the rules of the games. The approved body of rule is the basis for their decision. The officials should know the rules thoroughly and the intention or the spirit behind them. 2. They should be equipped with first-hand experience in the games. Having played the games is a great factor. Participation provides the officials a better understanding of the fundamentals and strategies and the practical applications of the rules in actual game situations. This will enable them to anticipate and follow the participants and game situations more closely. Sports officiating is that phase of competitive sports management which deals directly with the proper conduct of the game. Its primary function is to cause the game to progress with as little interference as possible. It also allows the officials to judge infractions in a correct manner. Its primary function is to cause the game with as little interference as possible. It also allows the officials to judge infractions in a correct manner.
Number 2, they may blow whistle during an interruption of play indicating that they authorize or reject a team request. Number 3, the referee indicates with the official hand signals, which is the nature of the fault, the player at fault, the team to serve. As for the first referee, it carries out his functions seated or standing on a referee stand located at one end of the net. His location will basically on a referee stand. His authority will be directing the match from start to end, and his responsibilities will be inspecting court and equipment before the game. For the second referee, his location will be on the scorer's table opposite to the first referee, and his responsibilities will be keeps the scorer's sheet according to the rules. The code of conduct are: be a good sport, control temper, accept loss with dignity, remember that it's just a game, and it's all for fun, enjoyment, and improvement.
That would be all, and thank you for listening. Hope you learned many of the essentials of volleyball in this handbook.